Hello, beautifuls. How are you today? So I'm trying something a little bit different today. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm gonna try just doing a soft-spoken ASMR video instead of the usual whisper that I usually read these stories in. I hope you like it, and if you don't, if you totally hate it, I can just not do it again, you know? But I figured I'd just try it out. No harm in that. So today I'm going to be reading some paranormal stories from Reddit. But first, real quick, I have a personal story. The story didn't happen to me, but somebody I know told it to me. About like 3 weeks to a month ago, one of my coworkers was leaving our team. She's still going to be working at the same place, but like in a different area. And on a Friday afternoon, we had like a little goodbye lunch for her. And so we're just sitting around chatting and eating, and I don't remember how this came up, but one of my coworkers decided to tell this story, which I don't know where it even came from, but I think we were talking about senior pranks. I don't think anyone in my class even did a senior prank. I think like a bunch of people decided not to show up on that day or something. Maybe I'm like totally wrong, but I just don't remember. I really don't. So we were on the topic of senior pranks, in high school, but my coworker decided to tell a story about her when her husband was in college, not high school, college. He and one of his best friends, I guess it was his friend's idea, but they decided to do a prank. And so I guess they went and stole a cadaver. Yes, you heard me correctly. I said cadaver. And they decided to put it in a hot tub during the night so someone could discover it the next morning. Yep. And everyone was kind of just like, what? Like, I expected her to tell, like, I don't know, like some fun little prank story, and then she comes out with this. Like, what the fuck? I just had to share that with you guys because it's fucked up, which that's not paranormal, but it's creepy. Why would you do that? I don't know. Anyways, on to the stories. The first story is called Playful Spirits at My Old Workplace. I used to work at a retail pet store many people do not like that sells purebred puppies. I worked in the kennel area taking care of the puppies every day, feeding and grooming them, giving them medicine and weighing them, taking temps, the whole 9 yards. I'd heard before from one of my managers that a couple playful spirits roamed the building, especially whenever it was quiet after close or in the morning before customers arrived. Occasional things falling off the shelves when they were pushed against the back wall, a pen that kept falling out of the pencil holder, and giggling when no one is around were the stories that I had been told. A couple weeks after hearing about this, I had my first paranormal experience in the store. I want to preface this by saying the way the store is built, the kennels for the puppies are built into a long wall that divides the retail section of the store from my work area. I was closing the kennel area and was about to take out the trash when I saw a man standing in the retail section of the store, looking into one of the kennels, looking at a corgi and a Shiba Inu we had at the time who were playing. Thinking it was my manager, I pushed through the doors into the main area and go to ask him a question about my shifts, and he's gone. I look across the room and he's down the hall in the office, and there's no one else in the store besides my coworker who had been in the back with me and the cashier who was also in the office. I asked my manager if he had just been looking at the puppies, and he said no. Throughout the rest of my time there, I heard giggling, saw a few running across the floor, saw no one walk through a curtain, and a human shape was visibly underneath the curtain as it passed through, and I had a pen cap fly off the table as soon as I set it down. Definitely not the worst part of the job. That was actually one of the only perks. Fuck that job. It was terrible. The next story is called I'm Not a Believer. I just had something happen. I can't explain. I work from home, was talking to my wife inside. I said, I'm going to take a lunch break and mow the lawn. She said, okay, I'm going to take a shower. Fast forward 10 minutes. I'm mowing a patch of grass beneath our bedroom window, which is frosted because it's in the shower looking out to the closed off backyard. I hear 2 raps on the glass and look up. There's a hand in the window waving at me behind the frosted glass. I assume my wife is in there showering, so I knock back. The hand waves in response and I wave at it. Maybe 30 seconds later, she comes around the corner, clothed. She was at the mailbox. Edit to clarify, she's been messing around in the house and gone to the mailbox before getting in the shower. This is my master bathroom that only my wife and I use. One kid's away at a friend's, the other was across the house in her room. I don't believe in ghosts and stuff like that, but I have no explanation for what I just saw. The next one is called My Ghosts Hate My Morning Alarms. So I've been semi-aware of something in my house for a little while now. Usually just taps here and there, noises throughout the house, strange feelings, and something setting off my motion detector when nobody is home. Lately, though, I've discovered whatever is in my house doesn't like my alarms going off in the morning. The first experience with this was a couple of weeks ago. My alarm had been going off in the morning, but I hadn't woken up properly. Until I heard an irritated voice say my name as if to wake me up because my alarms were not doing the job. The second time, same thing again. Alarms going off, but I wasn't getting up. And then I heard something hard fall on the floor in my bedroom. I got up to investigate, but nothing was on the floor at all. The latest one was the other morning. I'd snoozed my alarms a few times because I couldn't be bothered to get up. When I finally did wake up, I realized that I hadn't heard any more alarms. I went to grab my phone only to discover it had been taken off charge and thrown across the room. Too far away to have just vibrated off the side table. Conclusion? I'm lazy and my ghosts do not approve. The next one is called The Mysterious Lady in the Hall. When I was about 13, I was watching a movie with the fam. I remember clear as day we were watching the Hulk. They told me to go make popcorn. I had this odd, scared feeling like I didn't want to go to the kitchen. No one wanted to go with me. So there I reluctantly went. All the lights were out, pitch black. I was facing the hallway as I was about to switch on the lights in the kitchen. When about 4 feet away from me, there was this ring-like looking girl. All in white, almost glowing. Long, dark hair and crouched on the floor. I said, "Mom?" Oh, as she was the only one in the back of the house, and she did go to bed in a white t-shirt and shorts. This thing stood straight up and walked toward me quickly. I switched the light on and it was gone. I swear I never ran so fast in my life. It was like I flew right back to the living room and dove onto the couch. My family looked at me in shock and confusion. What the hell is wrong with you? They could tell in my face and voice I was not lying about what happened, but they still didn't believe me. My sis-in-law and sister went to go check it out with a broom in hand, and of course no one was there. My mom was snoring in her bed. After that, I would hear and sense, and in my mind see a woman who looked like that crying in a corner of my closet. Years later, a medium who went to my house who had no knowledge of this at all sent someone on that same corner of my closet that made him physically ill. The next one is called Unknown Visitor While Pregnant. When I was about 5 months pregnant with my daughter, I was getting ready to go to sleep. I had a show on and I was zoning out. So I clicked off the TV and got comfy, but felt like someone was staring at me. I opened my eyes to see a man standing at the foot of my bed, leaning on a staff. He looked like a desert traveler, turban, cloak, the whole shebang. The part that threw me was when he realized I could see him. He straightened up and had this "oh crap" look on his face. I threw the blankets over my head and started smacking my ex awake. I had him get up, check the entire house and the cameras. I wish I still had the footage because you could see me having a very noticeable reaction to something. Alas, this was in 2016 though, and I've moved a couple times since. 2 months later, I was in bed again. Room was blacked out and I was ready for a third trimester nap when I noticed a white ball of light floating down from my ceiling to my stomach. When it touched me, it felt like I was dipped in the most amazing pool of water, and my daughter kind of shook like crazy before settling down. What did I see? Angel, guardian of her spirit, a reincarnation waiting? It's been one of the questions I still cannot answer. The next story is called Trapped in a Haunted Town. Me and my girlfriend like to go on midnight drives. We were driving our usual routes down some country roads when we passed 3 oddly large sharp turn signs when my girlfriend said, "Wait, there was a road there, let's go down it." Because there was nobody out currently, I was able to reverse back to go into this road. It was exactly 2:22 a.m. It was one of those narrow farm roads. It seemed to go on forever. When we finally got out onto the main roads, we saw some eerie orange streetlights. The town name sign was a lot bolder than the others. Something about it made us feel uneasy. Upon entering the town, we laughed about how creepy it looks. All empty with orange streetlights. Suddenly, as we're driving through at around 15 miles per hour, we hear what sounded like a knock at the bottom of the car. It definitely wasn't just a rock or stick bouncing off the car. It was a distinct knock. We sped out of the town, soon again laughing it off. However, little did we know that wasn't the last we'd see of the creepy town. We attempted to get away from it and go back to our usual routes, but we soon realized that no matter which way we turned, it led us right back to the town. And every single time driving past the same exact place, we always heard that knock. We must have driven through the town at least 6 times before we managed to get out. When we finally got back home, the first thing I did was Google the town. To our horror, the official Wikipedia page of the town states that the town is haunted by 4 ghosts. Only 4? That doesn't seem like that many. The strange thing is we've never seen that town before. We haven't seen it on any of the street signs. Yet now, every time we go on our usual country roads, we see it on every sign. Almost like we unlocked a new area in a game. We've gone back to it a couple of times since, but now it seems a lot livelier and more normal, even at night. We have also tried to find the farm road that first led us to it. It's been a few months since it all happened, yet we still can't find that farm road. It's like it disappeared. The next one is called My Childhood Home. I grew up in a suburb of Houston. The neighborhood I grew up in was built on an old plantation. Throughout my family's time there, we would experience many things that made no sense. Cabinets would open, dishes would fall from the cabinets. Things that hung on the wall would often fall off. We would see a shadow figure walking down the hallways out of the corner of our eye, all at the same time. It didn't bother us too much, not until I had an experience I can't explain. I woke up one night and felt off. I tried to wake my brother, but he was out. I jumped back in the top bunk of our bed, knowing that something was about to happen. Sure enough, a full apparition of what looked like a Native American entered from the outside window. It looked at me. I've never been frozen in fear like that, and ever since, I have never felt such an intense feeling of fear. It walked through our door down the same hallway. We would always see the shadows. I have shared this with a few people, and I figured I would post it here. I have yet to experience anything like that again. I am tempted to call the current homeowners and ask if they had witnessed or felt anything off. I'll say this, apart from the experience I had that night, I never felt afraid to live in that house. No dread, no fear, no coldness. But there was something to that property. Not a month or 2 after we moved, a police chase ensued in our neighborhood. The suspect ended up in my old home's yard and stabbed himself to death. Not sure what that property holds, but I have no doubt something there transcends our understanding of reality. The next one is called I Saw Two Ladies That Weren't There. This happened to me yesterday. I, a 21-year-old female, went to a coffee shop to study with two friends before finals. The place is old as it is in the middle of my town and it has probably over 200 years of history. But it's pretty and elegant as it has been recently renovated. Yesterday was Wednesday and we were there at around 4 p.m., so it was empty. There was only another woman drinking a coffee a few tables away from us for the entire time we were there. When my friend went to the bathroom, I accompanied her. Now, to get to the bathroom, we had to walk to an open area, separated from the place we were sitting at by a large glass door. The whole wall was glass, so we could clearly see the other side. And as we went to the bathroom, I could see my other friend in our table and the lady a few tables away. After 5 minutes, we went back to the door, but me and my friend were chatting about our pets, so we stood there for a few minutes in the open area just talking. As I looked back into the main room, I saw two new people sitting in a tiny round table with two chairs right next to the window, a few meters in front of our table. I noticed one of the women was a blonde, blue-eyed girl, maybe in her 20s, who was wearing a white shirt and a brown skirt. The woman next to her, I don't remember her face, but I could see she had curly dark hair. I got a weird feeling from the blonde girl because it looked like she was uncomfortable that we had made eye contact, so I stopped looking and crossed the glass door. As soon as we were inside, not even 3 seconds after I saw them, they were no longer there. I was afraid, but I didn't want my friends to think I was being weird. I asked my friend who never left the table if he'd seen anybody else come in, and he said that he hadn't. And my other friend says she didn't see anyone either. I don't drink alcohol, I don't take any medicine, I was very much awake and not tired, and I didn't even have coffee. I was drinking a lemonade. I want to think I was hallucinating or something, but I can't find a reason why that would happen. I told my dad about this hours later, and he says he's seen two similar ladies before, and a lot when he was a kid, but never told anyone because they'd think he'd gone crazy. The next one is called I Asked My Dad for Help, and he answered. So late last year, my mother and I had a reading done by this psychic who has proven to be very reputable. My main goal during the reading was to see if I could make any contact with my dad, who died 10 years ago. To say our relationship was rocky is an understatement. One of the last things I told him was that I viewed him as a roommate rather than an actual father, if that gives you any indication. Ouch. So my dad did make contact with the psychic, and he said that he was very sorry about how he wasn't there for me when he was still alive, but is always around to help as long as I ask. So fast forward to this Monday, I managed to give myself a concussion on a cabinet door. Nothing too terribly serious, but it definitely rang my bell. I've had a horrendous migraine along with nausea. It felt like a terrible hangover. So yesterday I was sitting in my shower feeling like my head was going to explode, and I thought about what the psychic said. So I asked for help. Today I wake up, it's like nothing happened to me. I'm not in pain, I'm not dizzy, and I could probably drive without an issue. I was told I'd be having issues for anywhere between a few weeks to a month. I'm still going to take it easy, but it was definitely freaky. Wow, thanks, Dad. The next story is called My Little Cousins Keep Talking About the Man in the Hallway. Oh, hell no. So I'm currently living at my uncle's rental home. I, a 20-year-old female, shared a room with his two children, 12-year-old female and 12-year-old male. They are usually only here on weekends since their mother keeps them during the week. Now, the room we stay in is normal pretty much throughout the day, but at night we have to keep a night light or lamp on because it just feels like someone is watching you. Gross. Like last night, I was lying in bed with my dog and one of our cats when suddenly I heard a footstep in the kitchen, and my cat was steady staring into the kitchen, but no one was up. This is just one instance. When we first moved here, my dog would growl consistently at my uncle's door from inside the kids' room since his door sits across from the kids' room. My dog has also been known to growl and be scared of the front door hallway area, the hallway where the cupboard sits, and the kitchen in general. Now I'm rambling on about these things that have nothing to do with the title, but I feel like they could possibly contribute to an explanation of some sort. A few months ago, when I first moved in, I was sitting on the couch and a pillow had flown out of the closet, and I could have sworn I saw a hand reach out of the closet. And that same week was the first time my family would hear about the man in the hallway. My younger cousin woke up in the middle of the night and ran into my uncle's room talking about how she saw a transparent man in the kitchen by the fridge. Now, I know this may sound like a child's imagination at play, so we shook it off and pretty much forgot about it. Until this past weekend when my other cousin brought up another instance. When everyone was asleep, he was up watching videos on his phone when something in the hallway caught his attention. He said it looked like a tall man wearing a hat. Hat man. Not a baseball cap, but specifically a top hat. Now, I've heard of other people talking about this type of entity, but I'm not entirely sure if other people experience this being or if he may be quoting some video he's seen on YouTube or something. Now, when he brought this up, my other cousin said that's what she saw, but instead of a black silhouette, it was transparent. I'm currently getting chills just writing about this, and my keyboard typing is getting extremely delayed as I sit in the exact room I am writing about. This last story is called Guatemalan Worry Dolls and Other Weird Happenings. I have never heard of Guatemalan worry dolls, have you? A long time ago, my wife used to have night terrors. Some of it may have been due to the fact that she grew up in a legit haunted house. I can testify that shit went on in that house. Anyhow, her father also owned a turn-of-the-century piano made in like 1910. This will be relevant in a moment. And her mother has all kinds of antique stuff from when her family came to New Mexico in the 1800s. Needless to say, things could have been happening in her house because of all that stuff, or for the fact the previous owner decided not to live anymore and offed himself in the basement with exhaust. While as time went by, her night terrors continued and got so bad that her mom decided to use the Guatemalan worry dolls to try and help. The premise of the Guatemalan worry dolls is to put them under your pillow and sleep. Afterwards, you place them in a box and bury them on a path you will never go on again. It worked. However, fast forward to right before my daughter is born. My wife and I rented a beautiful house on the hill overlooking the town. About 6 months into living in the house while cleaning, these Guatemalan worry dolls start showing up in random places. Thresholds of the house, odd nooks and crannies, etc., and we weren't entirely sure where they were coming from. Well, my daughter was born and we remained in the house for another 6 months or so, but as we were moving and cleaning out the house, more dolls kept showing up. Well, we packed them away and my wife forgot where she put them. As we were moving into the new house, not 2 or 3 days in the threshold of the front of the house, a Guatemalan worry doll was laying right there. We'd get rid of old couches and bring new couches in, and sure enough, lift the couch cushions, and voila, worry doll. For a long time, I believe the piano held something in it because we brought it with us to the new house, and shit would always happen. Never in front of me, but behind me, but always in front of my wife or her friends. Lights turning on by themselves, picture frames swinging on the walls and falling to the ground. Some really funky shit. I started accepting what was happening when it was in my children's rooms. That pissed me off. I'd come home when no one else was here and sternly tell whatever it was not welcome, reciting the Lord's Prayer in step. We eventually moved the piano out and a lot of things stopped. However, we were telling one of my wife's friends who is very sensitive to that kind of stuff. She was really creeped out, but about 3 days after she left, she was cleaning out her car and called my wife frantically saying, This is fucked up. You're messing with me. And my wife was confused as shit. You guessed it. Worry doll in her center console. Most recently, my wife found one. The scariest thing to happen was the time my wife and I were stoned watching a Netflix comedy special for John Mulaney. A caption came on telling my wife when she was going to die. I thought it was like a caption saying when John Mulaney was born, so I didn't even look at what it said. But later my wife told me what it had said. What the fuck? So, I hope you guys enjoyed those stories. Let me know if you like the soft-spoken or if you like the whispering better. I just wanted to try something a little different, you know? As always, I hope you guys are doing well, enjoying hopefully your long holiday weekend. I know I am. I'm thrilled that I don't have to go to work tomorrow. Please like, comment, and subscribe. You guys are the best. I love each and every one of you. And I will see you in the next video.